Hello everyone, and we come again in the series of Mr. Men, the book of Mr. Grumble. Let's look at Mr. Grumble's life together. Mr. Grumble's name suited him well. Bah! He would grumble every morning when his alarm clock rang. It's the start of yet another horrible day. But he would groan every afternoon on his walk in the country. I hate the countryside. One day, just after he had said this, someone suddenly appeared by magic. It was a wizard to whom Mr. Grumble had the nerve to say, "Bah! I hate wizards who suddenly appear by magic." "Really?" said the wizard. "Well, I don't like people who are constantly grumbling and mourning. I will tell you what to do to people who have bad manners. I turn them into little pigs." And the wizard disappeared, leaving behind him a very piggy-looking Mr. Grumble. Mr. Grumble was afraid that he might remain a pig for the rest of his life. But 5 minutes later, by magic of course, he changed back into his old self. He set off again, and happened to pass little Miss Fun's house. "Come in," she cried. "I'm having a party." Mr. Grumble went in, but when he heard little Miss Fun's guests singing and laughing, he squalled. "Bah!" he mourned. "I can't stand singing and laughing." He would have done better to have kept quiet, because the wizard appeared once more. "I see that my first lesson wasn't enough," he said. "If I'm going to teach you to stop grumbling, groaning, and mourning, I will have to do more than turn you into a little pig. I will have to turn you into a big pig." Mr. Grumble did not like it one bit. Little Miss Fun and her guests, however, found it very funny. "Please," begged Mr. Grumble, "turn me back to normal. I promise that I will never grumble, groan, or mourn ever again." And he wingled his curly tail. The wizard took pity on him and changed him back into his old self, and then the wizard disappeared again. The little Miss Fun jumped on to the table and pretended to be a clown. Mr. Grumble was not amused. "Bah!" he snorted. "I can't stand people who jump on the tables and pretend to be clowns." You can guess what happened next. He turned into an enormous pig. An enormous pig whose face was red with embarrassment. "Oh, well," Mr. Grumble mournfully. Then this enormous red-faced pig made a solemn promise. "Never again I will grumble, groan, mourn, or snort." "Good," said the wizard, suddenly appearing once again, and Mr. Grumble changed back into his old self. Well, not exactly his old self. Look at that nice smile on his face. Amazing, isn't it? Later, Mr. Grumble went home, and tired out after his exhausting day, he went straight to bed. He slept the whole night without once grumbling, groaning, mourning, or snorting, but not without snoring. That's Mr. Grumbo. Alright, and we finish the book of Mr. Grumbo in the series of Mr. Men. Bye bye.